Ron is the sports guru, local sports especially. Ron, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill.
Let's start with wrestling. You predicted this. We talked about it. I remember telling you I talked to Chuck Maurer from down in Mohawk, who said this Mohawk-Ilion combo CVA wrestling team might be the best ever. And wow, it is turning out that way.
Well, I got a text a couple days ago, and I'm a member of the New York State Sports Writers Association that has a lot to do with putting together state rankings and everything. And obviously, I think we talked about that this year. There's no dual meet championship per se in state wrestling. However, the New York State Sports Writers Association does do rankings for large school, small school, and the final rankings just came out, and Central Valley Academy was elevated to a first place tie with Mattituck from down in Long Island. So I just thought it was a great feather in CVA's cap, really, in the Valley wrestling circles, to share that top spot at the end of the year. And it's supposed to be primarily based on dual meet competition. And of course, Bob Bush told me, hey, we did everything we could do. They went 31-0 in dual meets, and that's not even obviously counting what they just did this past week and a half with winning a Section 3 Division II title, as a team. So I just think it shows that, when Mohawk and Ilion had the merger, I did it from a story from a sports angle, and I led with wrestling because both of those programs were great. Jeff Bauer at Mohawk, and I think and Bob Bush has been was at Ilion for many, many years.
Yep.
And now you put those two together, and it's a powerhouse. And I know they have, some key seniors who are going to be graduating this year, but I still think they can make a run next year when there will actually be a dual meet state championship. So,
and
the states are coming up a week from this weekend in Albany, and with a couple wild card entries, they'll have, I believe, 6 wrestlers going, including Bob Bush's two twin sons. So.
A lot of great wrestlers from the area will be competing and had a really good performance last weekend. So it's this is the time of year, and it up until this point it's all about it's a team sport. Yes, you have your tournaments, but it's still a team sport, and this honor, being ranked number 1 in the state, is a team ranking. But now we're getting down to individuals, and this is big. And it's funny how the region works together. The Utica schools, Mohawk Valley, everybody all works together now, and in many cases they practice together.
That's right, Bill. In fact, I think the 2 New Hartford kids, Lucas King and Ian McKenna, I think have been practicing with Central Valley Academy, which is great because you're sort of all in this together now. And if I'm not mistaken, I think led by Adirondack Central wrestlers last year, I think Section 3 scored more points, especially in Division II in the small school rankings, at the state tournament than any other section in the state, which is says something about, obviously, Central New York wrestling in general. And I can't wait to, I'm always trying to look for features too, and I plan on talking to Tanner Cook, one of the seniors at Central Valley Academy, who just won, who's got over 200 wins in his career. He's, I think, the third of 6 sons who are wrestling. So
hey, and I got to tell you, there's one Section 3, but you know as well as I do, and this is just not wrestling; it's all sports. There is a Syracuse and a Utica Mohawk Valley. They're separated, even though we're the same section. And I got to tell you, when it comes to wrestling, our area is so dominant in Section 3 right now. It's going to be very interesting to see how they perform at the states.
Oh, I would agree. In fact, I really think that when it comes to wrestling, and especially it's a culture too, that at the small school level, I think our Division II teams in this area outperform the Division I, the large school programs overall. I mean, look at it from Central Valley Academy to Adirondack BBS.
Yeah.
New Hartford and Whitesboro have had some great wrestlers. Look at Little Falls now, Nico Scarano. I'm kind of rooting for the kid because he's going to the States as a wild card entry. I think he's only got 2 losses. And that's the kid that I wrote about who really befriended Connor Wilkes, Little Falls wrestler with Down syndrome, and he just won me over with the way he acted and interacted with Connor Wilkes. So I don't know. I find it fascinating. I think I've said this before. I played basketball for many, many years. I never wrestled, but I have an appreciation for what they do. It's I call it an individual team sport.
Yeah.
You're out there on your own, but you're there as a team too. It's sort of like, hey, we're all in this together. Whether you're a 126-pounder or 285. So.
Listen, let's switch quickly to basketball. The schedule's out. The postseason schedule is now out, and Notre Dame. I think I read this morning you're saying no surprise here. Notre Dame seeded first in Class A.
Right. Notre Dame boys 18-2. The 2 losses are to a Class AA team, Ithaca, and the other one was to West Hill, a Class B team who's number 1 seed in Class B, and actually I think ranked number 2 in the state. So Ryan Gokes at Notre Dame still has a young team. I marvel at what they've been able to do. Last year they made it to the sectional finals, lost to CVA in the finals. Led by Jerome Brabham, one of the better players in the area. He graduates, and they're right back there in a position to get back to the finals, and this time win it with a bunch of young players. Dante Griffin, Jalen Warmack, yet another Warmack. He's only a sophomore. Trajan Garrett, a great athlete, only a sophomore. They get Nick Cordo, a transfer from New Hartford, 6'6" junior. Derek Lindsay, a great role player as a sophomore. Notre Dame's starting 3 sophomores and 2 juniors. They're not very deep. That's what would concern me. But as far as starting 5-wise, I covered them at RFA the other night. 2 teams that were 17-2, and they just play very well as a team. Great ball movement, get good looks at the basket, and can make those shots. I love their starting 5. I just worry they can't afford to get in much foul trouble, in the playoffs. But they've got a great chance to win Class A this year.
And, over in Class D, I don't know that there is, throughout all of boys high school basketball, there's an undefeated team this year, with the exception of our very own Madison, which is seeded number 1 in Class D, currently 20-0.
Right, they've been number 1 in the state for the last several weeks now, and that's a team that again made it to the sectional semifinals last year with a bunch of young players. Get 4 starters back from that team, a really solid point guard in Tyler Hummer, a great all-around player in Sam Madison. Spencer Havlin's only a junior, and he does a little bit of everything for them. And then they got a great leaper inside in Lincoln Piziak. This other kid, Colton Stone, coming out of I don't remember him from last year. This year, he's a great threat on the perimeter as a shooter. I really see Madison as a prohibitive favorite in Class D. They've had a couple of scares in non-leaguers. They beat Central Valley Academy in overtime. They beat McGraw in overtime in a league game, and then came back and blew them out to win a Central Counties League title. So I don't know. Coach Dan Mitchell, I keep trying to schedule a trip to Madison to sit down and get some photos and do a few profiles, and it always seems to be a blizzard or a snowstorm this past Monday or Tuesday. But I got a feeling they're going to be around for a while. So I've seen them a couple times, and I'm looking forward to watching them when we get down to the stretch here, because I really think they got a great shot. And
quickly, on the girls' side, great representatives. You have Poland with a number 2 seed, Little Falls number 2 seed. That's Class C.
Yeah, and Whitesboro number 1 in
Whitesboro number 1. Yes. So good representation from here for the ladies.
Oh yeah, hey, Whitesboro's made it to the finals the last 4 years in Class A. and been beaten every time by Janesville DeWitt, who last year JD went on to win a state title. It's set up again for them to meet in the finals. I wouldn't be surprised at all about that. There's actually a chance in semifinals that Whitesboro and New Hartford would meet for a third time. That would be a great local matchup.
Yeah.
But Whitesboro, I hate to say it, it's been a while, but they're due to beat JD, and I know Coach Todd Scott has scouted them more than once already this year. Looking ahead, just in case it does come down to that.
Right.
But I'm actually in the process of doing a Sunday feature on the Belmont twins, Allie and Kate. They're two great players, very aggressive kids whose energy I think has rubbed off on this team. They're really with point guard Gianna Gotti, they're like the heart and soul of this Whitesboro team. They're a lot of fun to watch. They've got some three-point shooters as well, and I really look forward to Whitesboro JD for the 5th straight year, and maybe the Warriors can do it this year. And I'll tell you, Bill, in AA, don't count out Proctor. Walt Savage at Proctor has some great players there. They're 14-5. They're seeded 4th, and this year, I counted it up yesterday. I think Cicero North Syracuse has won like 8 straight Class AA titles.
Wow.
But that was with Brianna Stewart and Michaela Roberts, some great players. They're 7-11 this year, I think. They're in the playoffs, but they got a 7-11 record. That makes AA up for grabs, and I think Proctor's in the mix there. And you mentioned the two small school powers in our area, Poland and Little Falls. Little Falls coming off a loss to Cooperstown, who, by the way, has won back-to-back Class C titles, and they're still a contender in Class C. But Little Falls is seeded 2nd there at 18-2. Pam Munger's been the coach there forever and ever. And in Class D, Poland 16-4, all 4 losses to two very good Class C schools in Little Falls and Waterville. So I really think this is the year, to be honest, that Poland wins it in Class D. I don't know. Jason Potempa, the coach, might not be happy that I pinned that on them, but I really think that they're due, and I think this is their year.
And then you have is it Herkimer on the boys or girls side?
No, Herkimer's good in boys.
Yep. But
right away they play Frankfurt Schuyler. I believe it's tomorrow night in the opener in Class C, and Herkimer and Frankfurt split during the regular season.
That's going to be
another good one.
A big game. Somebody's telling me do not forget to mention Treen from Herkimer. So there you go.
Oh, Colin Treen, yes.
Yeah.
No, you mean Colin Treen's a wrestler for Central Valley Academy.
Oh, that's what they're talking about. Got it. Treen, as in
no, he's very good.
And that's what we're talking about when it comes to individuals. There's the team portion of wrestling, and then there are the individuals. And at this time of year, top 4, I believe it's still this way, go to the class tournament, and then only the sectional winners go on to the state tournament with a few extras. But this is individual time when the individuals get a shot to shine in the wrestling sport. All right, lots going on right now, and we'll keep an eye on your stories, Ron. It's all in the OD, utica.youtube.com. Good stuff. Ron Moshier, thanks.
Thanks, Bill.